Appreciated. We'll be back right now. And hopefully we are going far in the tourneys. I'm going to take some of the hyper MTT sit and goes with me, so we are having some kind of action, because playing just two tables, even though one is 6 max, is probably going to be really boring. And I'm trying to switch up the camera a bit so that we can see each other better. Now that Dayah will be gone, because she's going to get us dinner. Then queen is so bottom of my range here. So I will be the one that's left here talking about what's happening. And on the 6 max Hyper Turbo, I haven't marked the guys yet as terrible players, because on 6 max it's more likely that they are playing a plus EV game, even though they are playing pretty widely. So Gummilurts, you really hate American style to make TV programs. The same things are shown at least 5 times. I agree. If you are watching an American production and someone has ripped all the advertisements from the program, then it's going to be hard to watch it, because before the commercial break they are saying something and they are going back to it and they are saying it again after the commercial break. And they are going to say the most important parts at the beginning as a teaser, so you would want to see what's coming, and at the end they might have some more of those. So I understand where you're coming from, that it might really annoy you after a while. And we are soon having our first $1 hyper open. Yeah, well, Virpa will see that how long she's away. So these 180-man hypers, they are different than regular hyper tourneys. On the regular hyper tourneys, you can see that we are starting with about 3k stacks. On this hyper, that's 180-man, that resembles more of a sit and go hyper, with the structure that we start up with 25 big blinds and it goes down quickly after that. Yeah, Nelonen Media shows it in Finland. And like here, I think something like ace-7 suited would be a ship for me, or the ace-3 suited would become a ship for me. It's going to be just 10 big blinds deep, but 12 big blinds deep, I don't think there is a plus EV way to play the hand. And Korpistori says that NFL referees will make 100-200,000 a year, and they might get 50k or more depending on the fans of the Super Bowl. 50k or more. Could you, Korpistori, elaborate a bit more on how they get paid for the Super Bowl and how the fans can affect it? And Vernon backs, you can't wait to see the Olympic hockey tourney. Well, the same goes for me. I will be watching very closely the Olympic hockey tourney, and it's less than 2 weeks away. I think in 10 days the first games will start. So the 13th day should be the first one. Even though I don't think that Finns are having that good of a chance in the Olympic tournament, but still I'd like to watch the games, and they are always interesting games. For example, when Canada and Sweden collide, because there are so many of the world's best players on both of the teams. And also Canada against Russia, Sweden against Russia. Every game that Finland plays, Canada or Sweden against USA, all of those will be good games. And Korpisoturi, the more the fans threaten the referees, the more they get paid because the job is more dangerous. You can't be serious? Hi, ex-gunner. And Tran asks, what is the highest Sunday Million run of my career? I think this is like my 4th time playing Sunday Million, and I think it would be kind of one of the highest runs. I don't think I have finished in the money in the Sunday Million ever. I had some money stuck in the step system a few years ago when they had the W dollars. I won some tourneys that paid out in W dollars or paid out in tournament tickets that you could just get to W dollars, but just when they changed it, or like they didn't change it quick enough for me. Actually, on the $25 6max hyper, I think Ace 5 without ICM restrictions would have been a good shove. Tran, I just think that Finland's team would be like probably 5th or 6th best, depends on how good team the Czechs are. And there are like, I think Canada and Sweden are going to be the best teams, and there is very little difference between them. And in a $1 hyper, even when we get action, we are not going to fold, and we are going to get it in. And we are getting it in really nicely, and we are not running great. So I think that Sweden and Canada are having the best teams, pretty much, and they are very close. Then there is some kind of then there will be some difference, and then there will be Russia and USA, and I think there is very little separating Russia and USA. Russia isn't bringing the best team because they have taken so many players from the Continental Hockey League that is probably more familiar for the guys making the team, but I think there are better players in the NHL than in the Russian Continental Hockey League. And on the USA side, I think the team has been collected together really nicely, because I think that the team will be fast, there will be effective players in the larger ice, and the players are of high quality. So I think they are going to be better than USA usually is. And Julas Pro asked an interesting question, that how do you think Team Finland would do in NHL? If I would have to guess, Team Finland would be probably an above average team on the NHL still. But the defense corps would be pretty laughable compared to the forwards. The defensemen are Finland's weak point. Hoping for a jack on $25 game, but nope. And Korpisoturi, interesting because crazy fans can do stupid things. Yeah, I don't think that when some fans are threatening the referees with physical violence, I think it goes way over because it's just a sport and you shouldn't be taking it so seriously. Vernon backs, don't the Finns have a lot of gay Continental Hockey League players as well? Yeah, Finns have a lot of Continental Hockey League players, but there's just one reason for it. Because we don't have enough NHL quality players, so... But Russia's situation is different. They would have had enough NHL quality players. Like some players like Alexander Semin is probably underrated and not getting selected to the Olympic team is probably one of the biggest or one of the worst non-inclusions. I think like not including Bobby Ryan to Team USA is quite logical because I don't think speed is his biggest asset, and if they can't find a nice role to him. But something that I don't understand is not including someone like Martin St. Louis in Team Canada because he's quick, he's a quick thinker, and I think Martin St. Louis could have been one of the best suited Canadian players for the big ice. But still, like the Team Finland would have they would have the NHL's best goaltending, and Finland is ridiculously deep in the goaltending. If Pekka Rinne would be healthy, there would be 4 goalies that are absolute top in NHL that can be pretty much starting goalies on their teams, regardless of the team. So Finland is ridiculously deep in goaltending. The current state of forwards, well, it's going to get better, and there are good depth in centers, but it's problematic when there aren't a lot of good defensemen. And Virpa is correct that when there's betting involved, there's more than enough reason to get mad at refs. So that's also true. When there are a lot of money involved, it will make people do stupid things. And Tran, perhaps I'm undervaluing the importance of big ice, but I think that's also something why I think that the Swedes that have more experience in the big ice are having, even though the names are not at the level of Canadian names, they are very close to Team Canada because they know how to play the big ice, because most of the Swedish players have played big ice most of their junior careers and their adult careers before NHL. And Martin St. Louis, he's too small, but it doesn't matter that much when they are playing on the larger ice. And Martin St. Louis is playing really good at the small ice where it's more important, or the size is more important, so I think he's one of the players he's probably the player that should have been included. This is a yucky spot on the $1 hyper, but we need to go in anyway. And Gummilutsi asked in the Finnish chat on why Finland has so many high-quality goalkeepers. I don't know. Actually, it's just like in Finland most of the heroes have been goaltenders and goaltenders have been made into heroes, so perhaps young boys like to play goaltender more in the Finnish side. And Ace King, this is going to be slightly exploitable, but I'm going to min raise it and I'm going to call it anyway if someone wants to get it in. And why Finland has so many high quality goalkeepers, I think also that the goalkeeper coaching in Finland has been ahead of other countries a lot. And we run good at the Sunday Million. And that's always nice. And it's interesting that we didn't have that much discussion before ice hockey, but everyone has an opinion about ice hockey, and that's something that's good. I think Canadians and Finns can probably find a lot to talk about when they are talking about ice hockey, because I think Finland and Canada are the only two countries in the world where ice hockey is the most popular sport. And like, I think that you should select the best players when you are thinking about that speed and finding space in the big rink are playing a bigger part, and slower players will have it harder. And I think the Canadian and US teams have probably found it out that you need to be really quick team to have success on the larger ice. I think that Canadian and US teams have pretty much won all the Olympic golds in the recent history when the rink has been small, but on the larger rinks it has been between Finland, Sweden, Czech Republic and Russia to split up the lead. I don't even think that any team, US or Canadian team, has been on the finals in the big ice. And actually, Swiss hockey is also really interesting, because it used to be that Swiss hockey is a bit of a joke in the World Championships, but they have been doing really good job in getting the level of play up. Like, Swiss hockey they are now solidly in top 8 and probably can be top 7 or top 8. They are competing against Slovakia, and I think Swiss team is closer to Finns than many people realize. I think I read a really good article about the selection of the US national team, and I think they are making a lot of sense in their selection this year around, that they are not going to do the same mistakes that they usually do. And in that sense, I think the Team USA makes a lot of sense, that they are having a lot more speed this time around, and they are snubbing some of the players that are doing good in the NHL, but they are slow. And Ugly Brat, actually that's surprising that SC Bern would last average 16,330 visitors per match, because I think that's the most after NHL. I don't think that any team in the Continental Hockey League will average 16,000 visitors per match. And in Finland I know for sure that no team does, because there are not large enough arenas in Finland. And there is a good discussion on the Canadian USA teams have no idea how to coach their massive ego individuals on big ice. And Vernon Back says that there's no egos on Team Canada when they put on the maple leaf. And on the last World Junior Championships, well, they showed the exact opposite. But no, I don't know. I think that Canadians want to do good in the Olympics, and there are strong individuals and you don't get the best team by selecting only the best players, but you need to take into account that not every player can be a star, even though they are stars in their own teams. Yeah, Petteri Nummelin has played in Lugano for a long time. And didn't actually Antti Törmänen be the coach of SC Bern? I think he got booted this season, but last season I think he played. Or not played, but coached SC Bern, if I'm not completely lost here. There is not a lot about Swiss hockey in Finnish media, but I think it's still an interesting country hockey-wise when they have made so much improvement, and there is also that they are not one of the classical countries, but they have made their improvement in the recent years. And I think that when they have money, they have had a really interesting way to limit the amount of foreigners on the teams and give their Swiss players, give them more good games when the foreigners always needed to be top quality, and so the Swiss players got a lot of strong games, and now there are good Swiss players in the NHL, like Nino Niederreiter, that's now having his breakout season in the Minnesota Wild. Like, I think that the Swedes are so close in winning the hockey 2014, so don't make any promises you can't keep. Antti Törmänen is an interesting coach when he had only coached the second level, on the second highest level in Finnish. Not in the Finnish Elite League, but only on the second highest league, and then go to one of the Europe's biggest leagues and be a main coach there, and I think that's quite an achievement. Vernon Bax, yeah, I know that in the NHL, like, there are like Canucks and Toronto Maple Leafs that are outselling their arenas, so that NHL will have the highest average viewership by game, but SC Bern's 16,000 will be really high, because I don't think that even in KHL they are the large rinks. And now I'm hearing that the order is in, so we are having burgers soon, hopefully. And this is the good thing about modern technology, that you can follow how your food comes. And Vaku is serious and rented an igloo if the worst happens. I don't think that when we have Canadian visitors here that we can pull their leg by saying that in Finland we are like biking away from polar bears or skiing away from polar bears on our way to school, and how it's hard in here because it's pretty much the same in Canada. And they are having pretty much the same experiences with snow and ice. Super Bowl burgers. Should be good. Damn it! They look really good, and bacon is something that needs to be in the burgers. But what's this green stuff? Oh well. Now that it doesn't even make me that envious when I know that my own burgers are coming. And Gummilut, do we see you eating burgers? Well, it depends on if I'm still playing when the burgers arrive. Tran, I'm living in I'm living in Haabersti, that's the part. So it's on the western edge of Tallinn. And Bernenbacks has has an igloo with Wi-Fi. Actually, if there would be an igloo in Tallinn, it probably would have Wi-Fi, because there are Wi-Fi hotspots everywhere. Like, Tallinn seems to be one open Wi-Fi network. In Finland, it's a lot harder to get a Wi-Fi connection, and in most other countries, in Finland it's even quite good, but in most other countries it's harder. It's really hard to find decent Wi-Fi, but in Tallinn, like every coffee shop has a good Wi-Fi. And Markus, you said that if I remember correctly, Tampa Bay had 30k plus seats in the first couple of seasons before, because they played in a rink that wasn't supposed to be a hockey rink at first. I think Tampa Bay, they played in a hybrid stadium that hosted also NFL games for, I think, Tampa Bay Buccaneers or something. So they had a really huge amount of seats, but it didn't work for ice hockey that well. And X-Gunner says that there will be clothes woven out of maple leaves. Well, that's Canada. Now we can get also the Justin TV chat on the same screen, because I can't get enough of these $1 hypers, that we could get enough of those compared to how quickly I'm losing them, which kind of sucks. I'm going for a check raise here. I'm wanting to have someone else put money in, but we go check on the flop, and on the turn I don't want to get more money in. And Tallinn is different because they are such a new as a country and nothing is monopolized yet like in Finland. I think you are correct, and also, but like, it's harder for me to get a good 4G network in Tallinn than it's in Finland. In Finland it's like the mobile networks are a bit better than in Tallinn. But free Wi-Fi wise, most of the shops, I think the city government or government sponsored some of the first Wi-Fi hotspots and tried to make it good as quickly as possible. So I think that played a role in making the Tallinn's city center such a hotspot. And Kuber isn't seeing the stream, so what am I doing here? I'm busting out of tournaments like it's my job. Actually, we are having a really special tournament, I think. And I'm still in the Sunday Million, why not? Why not do something stupid? Boom. And like Tran, in Tallinn or in Estonia, we are having Sonera as Elion. Then we are having Elisa as Elisa. And then there will be Tele2, that's an operator, that's a Swedish operator mainly. So we are having pretty much the same problems. And also, or actually it's EMT when it's the wireless and it's Elion when it's the wired ones. But we are suffering for some of Sonera's decisions in here as well. And Seahawks are white and Broncos are in orange. And now we are having the T-Coupe final event, the T-Coupe wrap up. That's going to be a Hyper Turbo $215 game, and then we are having Sunday Million where 2/3 of the field will get paid. So we are having a high profile poker night today. Yeah, we are. I think there are some Super Bowl noobs, but we are probably trying to get something if we are here still when Super Bowl starts. We are then thinking about what's happening in there. Five types of meat. That sounds like my diet. Or my dream diet. Meat, meat, meat and more meat, because meat is good for you. And yeah, thanks to Vern for laying out the rules for American football a few moments ago. We are soon probably needing to use them. If there would have been just one shipping it, I would have called with nines, but when there's a ship it and a call, I think nines are going to be beat too often. That there is a guy with a bigger pair than I do. Actually, 10 jack in these games is probably a minus EV spot to open so far away. From cutoff to button it would have been good, and on small blind, but probably a bit too far away. Actually, did the Super Bowl just start? I thought it's supposed to start at 2 o'clock. So what's happening there? Is the Super Bowl already started? Or is it just the preparation for the bowl? And we are hitting a jackpot on Sunday's Supersonic. Huge play, first play, and I have to say, I wouldn't understand it, but I'm trying to get myself to a position that I can see the game when there's the first break. 12 seconds and own goal. X-Gunner says that you find the deck harder to read on PS. I think that's going to be, when you are used to it, it's going to be a lot better. I like that when you are having the colors, so you are having the suits in the biggest possible way, and also you are having the numbers as big as you can get, because I think that's going to reduce your mistakes in the long run a lot. And I'm using a team on PokerStars that makes all the stuff the biggest it can be. That that needs to be seen. Like the cards, they are the biggest cards you can get, and you can see that how many players are in your hand. The cards, they are the biggest cards you can get on a hold'em table, that you can see the biggest possible. It's like how much information you can get at first glance. The blue is probably, it's the only color that shows clearly all the chips that can be in the pot, and also it's pretty close to the diamond color, I agree, but it's a compromise that I don't think that there is a table color that would clearly show everything. And there is a touchdown and 9-0 Seattle. I think the guys in Washington State are loving it right now. And Korpistudent Kyberi made a beef meal bet. But seems like Seattle is owning it. Xcanner says that my screen is huge, so gotta go full screen for some of my hands. I think that if you are using the pop-out version, you can scale that a bit better, so you don't need to use full screen that much. So that's what I recommend if you have just one screen, that you should use the pop-up version. And on the PokeriMania.com/forum, there is a thread that shows the both different options on Justin TV. And I think that it's also good because we are using the embed version, that's the older version. So if there's something wrong with Justin TV, you'll get two possibilities for it. And Vernon Back's still 2-0. He went out of bounds. Okay. On the Supersonic, I don't yet believe that the tablet player is having it, so there is 2 players in the pot. If he's betting twice big, then I'm going to let it go, even though I like my 8s here. But we have had some problems with Justin, that the other version doesn't work, the other version works better. And when we have the option that we can use both the old and new version side by side, we are trying to, on our forums, use both of them. So our viewers will have an option for the better. And this will be kind of a special play. When there have been 2 limps, ace-8 suited will be good enough to shove. And also because there will be so much money in the pot, and we will be so likely to win the pot here and now. We win it against 3s and 7s, so we got it in great. And I'm hearing a car, so I'm thinking I'm getting a Berkshire delivery in just a few moments. So then it will be crisis averted. Then all I need would be to find out how can I see the Super Bowl in Estonia. But I think I'll find a way. Yeah, that's the sound of burgers coming. And now it's going to be a feed my little pony situation in the $1 hyper, so It's a bit of FML. When Chrissy is betting the flop and then shoving the turn, I won't be able to call, but I think I have the odds and I don't believe that she would have the best hands. But I think that's a creative way of finding out what FML means for Gummilurtsi, so points to you. But the $1 hypers are hard because I can't even two-table the $1 hypers because I'm busting out of the first one. First one before hitting the next one. Would there be any nice hypers starting up? Well, this will be fun. Now I'm going to remove the Justin TV channel. And I'm probably, if we are not taking into account these sit and goes, I'm going to get the last tournament that we are going to start. There will be the $51 Hyper Turbo. That's 12K guaranteed that starts in a minute. And it will probably be the final game of the day. If this Sunday Million doesn't go really far. And it has been a bit of a crappy game for us because we have never had a good stack. We have been fluctuating before with a smaller stack and now we are pretty much playing shove or fold. So it's going to be a bit hard for us. I'm going to be there in 10 minutes to try to grab a burger. So cola, please. Perhaps. Now I'm removing the hyper and replacing it with the higher profile hyper. This is too small of a continuation bet or donk bet I can fold to. When I have checked to him, so he has a good opportunity to bluff there. And we were correct. He had exactly nothing. No pair, no draw. But that's a good place for him to bluff because when he's bluffing there, he's next to never. He's making better cards, better hands fold, and on the other hand, he's not making worse hands fold because there are not a lot of worse hands that can be available in the game. I wonder how long the late reg is in the Sunday Supersonic. 30 minutes. It should be insane because when you are late regging then you are getting something like 7 big blind stack, but probably people are doing it. I don't know if the number of players are increasing or decreasing in the Sunday Supersonic. Should probably look about it a few moments and see what's happening there. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. I'm back. And then I'm gonna go away again. Are you still in the Sunday meal?
Yeah, and I'm in Sunday Supersonic as well.
Oh, good.
I have been busting these $1 hypers like it's my job. Like, I have been busting out a ton of those.
So...
But they are cheap.
Yeah, but when I left, you lost your luck, if you ever had one.
I don't think that I had one during the day, but... Oh
You're
well.
just saving it all for the Sunday meal final table, right?
Yeah, hopefully. She brought me some cheese stars from McDonald's that are going to be junk food, and there will be burgers. So I'm sorry guys, but I just have to eat something right now. It's almost 6 hours without eating, so I'm getting hungry. And because the odds of getting flatted is a lot and ace-jack off isn't going to play well in flatted pots with 11 or less big blinds, we're going to shove it in. I had a light meal, so I have a challenge to... I will have a challenge to eat the burgers in the 5 minutes that I'm going to have a break in. So instantly, as I know that these are the last hands before the break, I will be ending this broadcast instantly or going to a break instantly and running to find out where can I see the Super Bowl and also trying to eat something at the same time. And Sunday meal, I think we are not getting it in good this time. When we have, we are having 1 3-better and 1 caller, and we are having Jack 10 suited. But hopefully we are having at least 2 live cards. So now we are just thinking about how good it can be or how good it can get. We are against 10s and queens, and so we are pretty much screwed. So we are losing out on the Sunday million monies. So we are back to 3 tables. And I think this, when we are having just hypers for the last 3 tables, it's going to be quick when it starts going. I'm doing double barrels on the 7-7-6 flop, as I think that I'm going to get him to fold better hands, but not this time around. Gummilurtsi, it's cheaper in Tallinn than it's in Finland. I think it's something like Hesburger is that if there's something that's 8 euros in Finland, it's pretty much like 4.50 to 5 euros in here. so it will be cheaper in Tallinn, and it's pretty much the same than in Finland that if you are having restaurant food and you can't afford much, you are going to McDonald's, or because they are pretty much the cheapest restaurants available. And Doug Lee would have folded a Jack-10 suited, but Jack-10 suited is plus EV to ship there. And as I'm not a medium and I can't see in the future, I just need to do stuff that's plus EV. And actually Queen Jack off is as well when we are having just 5.4 adjusted big blinds. The antes are insanely large at that point. I'd say, oh well. We could be running slightly better. We are having like 2 min caches for the day, and that's not going to be an awesome Sunday set. Hope that we get action from worse hands in the Sunday Supersonic. I'm thinking it's going to be 2 minutes and I can then run to get some burgers. And we are getting it in ahead, but not a lot ahead, with tens. And I repeat, we could be running better. And we get it in 3s against 2s, and actually we win. I don't even know what to say from that. For that, I think my exact thoughts would be that was a surprise meant, and I know that that's crappy English, but that were my first thoughts. That whoa, we outrun the guy that hit the set on us on the flop with weaker pair. And with 8 Jack off, we are going in no matter what happens. We are just hoping for the best, and the best happens and we double up. If it's going to be folded to me, I'm going to be shoving this Queen 10 suited. I don't think that our hand is good enough to be calling that, but it will be really close, like really close. Even when I see the Ace Jack off, I think it would be really close still to call with Queen 10 suited. Five-minute break, so I'm going to a break. See you soon after 5 minutes.